don't want you to look at it as like, oh, well, they just signed up. I don't want to try and sell them something right away. I don't want to be salesy, blah, blah, blah. Let's shift our mindset from that and instead look at it as a service. They opted in because they're having an issue with that. And the best way that you're ever going to be able to help them solve that issue is through that program.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of Seriously in Business, the podcast for all things marketing, branding, design, and just learning about business. And that's what we're going to do today with an interview I have with the wonderful Nicole Riccardo. Nicole and I chat all things kind of about lead magnets, freebies, and how you can craft the perfect freebie to draw in your ideal client without giving away too much, but also giving value that's actually going to help your ideal client and let them know how incredible you are. We also have a little bit of a pep talk for new business owners with small followings and talk about following and being really true to yourself and who you are and acknowledging that that might not be for everyone, but that is going to help business be so much more enjoyable for you. So Nicole is a flutist turned digital marketer. Nicole is the founder and president of NR Media. And after working with multi-million-dollar businesses and gaining 10 years of experience in the field, Nicole's mission is now to empower musicians, creatives, and freelancers with the business and digital marketing know-how they need in order to create a career doing what they love. So I hope you enjoy this interview with Nicole, and I'll see you inside. So, hello, Nicole. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I know that we are in different time zones, and you were just telling me how your day is pretty much ending and mine is at the very cusp of starting. So hopefully our we're in sync enough. I feel like we're in opposite sides of the world with different mindsets right now.
We'll find out.
Very interesting. Now, you were saying just before we get started that you saw in my bio that I love cheesecake, and you said that you resonated with that. I would love to chat more about that because, look, it doesn't happen every day that I find a fellow cheesecake lover. So tell me, what is your favorite cheesecake?
Oh my God. Yes. Okay. Shoot. I'm not going to be able to remember the name of it, but the last time I was in New York, I went to this little delicatessen. They had, like corned beef sandwiches, matzo ball soup, but they also had this cheesecake. Oh, New York style cheesecake. It had like fresh strawberry topping on top. It was so good. But aside from, that one very specific location of cheesecake, I'm a big fan of Oreo cheesecake.
I'm okay with that. Oreos are just like, I don't even love Oreos that much by themselves, but they seem to just make incredible desserts.
Yeah.
I've done the Oreos
Just like
mashed up with cream cheese, like in like a little ball. It's pretty much like an Oreo cheesecake ball.
Oh my God. Thank you, but also I hate you because I'm just gonna like eat that all day.
And it's so easy because you all like literally the whole recipe is put a packet of Oreos and a packet of cream cheese into a blender and make them into balls. And if you want, you can put in chocolate.
Oh my God, that sounds so good. I have such a bad sweet tooth, honestly. Like it's bad.
Sorry, we're not talking about this for the sake of our poor listeners that are probably all salivating as well if they're also sweet tooth. If not, you're probably like, oh, this is yuck. I want to get
everybody pause and get your cheesecake and then come back
and then come back to the podcast.
Episode.
So to kick things off, I wanted to ask some more chilled questions to kind of get to know you a little bit more, because I love getting to know the faces behind a business. I think we always hear, like, we see heaps of advertising at businesses and it's like, oh, cool, I get to know what you do and learn from you, yada, yada, yada. But actually knowing the people behind the business, I think, helps us to feel less alone in business. And I'm all for that. So I would love to know, what would your ultimate day in business look like?
I love this question. It's like your dream vacation, dream day in business. Okay, my ultimate day, I'm just gonna really go with like literally like what my actual, dream kind of day schedule would be. Obviously not every day is gonna look like this, but dream day, here we go. Okay. I would wake up, go through my morning routine, which usually is going to be, like reading a book for a little bit. I like to read something business related to kind of get my brain in the game for the day. I like to do a little meditation, move my body in some way. So maybe a little, quick little 10-minute yoga or something. Then get into the day. Even though I definitely am a night person, my brain is generally working better in the morning in terms of like getting done the tasks that I don't necessarily want to do. So maybe knock out like a couple big projects, those projects that are like, oh my God, like I know I need to do this. This is going to be so good, but like, I'm just also going to really procrastinate doing this, So I would knock out a few of those. And then I would maybe throw like a client call or two in there just because honestly, like I really love talking with my clients. It always like gets the creative juices flowing. You get so many ideas, and it's just like, they're cool freaking people. I just love hanging out with them. And then the rest of the day, I would probably go to a spa and do some like good self-care stuff, like last night I just did like sauna cold plunge for the first time. So like maybe do that, maybe do like an hour in a float tank, maybe get like a massage and a facial, just really like, hey, good job. Congratulations. You did some things today. And like, now here's your treat, and then just, because obviously we'll go ahead and cap it off with some sort of, like amazing dessert. So
amazing. That sounds really delightful. I hadn't actually thought of like smashing in some like massage and spa stuff at the end of the day. I think that sounds really nice. Although my day would probably end a bit differently. I'd probably just go back to work again because that's the kind of person that I am.
Yeah, that was me last night. I was like getting a couple things together until like 1 a.m. But it's like when you get in the zone, you're just like, cool, we're just gonna go with this.
It's like, don't make working at night wrong if you're enjoying it. So yeah, anyway, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. I love getting that bit of an insight into your life. Have you always wanted to start your own business? Like, how was that journey come about for you?
Oh my God, no. If I were to go back and tell like, younger Nicole what I'm doing now, I'd probably laugh and be like, yeah, that's a joke. But my background actually is all in music. I'm a classical flute player. And I've been involved in music in some way, shape, or form since first grade. So like majority of my life, that's what both of my degrees are in. My bachelor's and my master's are in flute performance. And so pretty much from the time I was like, gosh, I don't know, like 11 or 12, I have wanted to be a flute player in a professional orchestra. And so that is really what I worked for most of my life. But when I got in college, in various shapes and forms, I was doing marketing and social media marketing, PR. I was doing that in different ways, but I had my blinders on and I was so focused on music that I didn't actually realize at the time, like, oh, I'm actually doing marketing right now. And I really enjoy this, it was just kind of like, oh, cool. Yeah, I'm going to put this together. Oh yeah, cool. I'll put together this concert tour and, like sell all of these tickets and like do this fundraising thing and whatever. Like I enjoyed it, but I had no idea that that was actually like marketing. But then I graduated. And, in music, it's extremely competitive, as in any creative field, to get a normal full-time job in that, right? So I was in a normal 9 to 5, still taking auditions, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, long story short, I ended up like doing marketing through the jobs. And so then I was doing that for a few years and, you keep seeing results. And then finally I was like, okay, like, hold on, why am I doing this for somebody else? Like these other businesses that honestly, I don't even like care about. Like I would rather do this for myself and help people that I actually really do like and want to support. And I believe in what they're doing, so that's what I did. I got sick of other people telling me what to do and was like, cool, I'm going to do this for myself. And when I first started doing it, when I made the transition to working for myself, I actually was doing music related things. I was teaching lessons and performing with a few orchestras, whatever. But I had people sending me messages like multiple times a week, people that I went to school with, like different peers, colleagues, whatever, like, oh my God, how did you do this? How did you do this? How did you do this? And so finally I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll just like teach you guys how. So I launched my first online course with literally one Instagram post. And I think I had like 30 people in the very first round. And I was just like, cool, like I'm just gonna like teach you guys what I did. And through that process, multiple of them, they were able to like quit their jobs and become self-employed. And I was just like, oh, okay, like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Cool, 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 cool. So
Amazing.
no, definitely never expected this.
That's so cool. I love everyone's business journey is so different. Like I've always wanted to do a business for myself, but then watching your journey of like, yeah, just no idea, pushing against it. And then this sudden shift of like, actually, I'm really good at this and I'm enjoying this and it seems to get results. So let's go for it. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay, let's get to some learning now. I know that you teach a lot about kind of using free content to sell your paid offers. And I would love to know, like, I've done using free offers a lot in my business before, but I know a lot of people, and I did probably have this fear as well, worry about that sharing free content is going to take away from people actually paying for all my work. And so there's this fight inside our brains as business owners of like, do I put free content out there? And if I do, is it going to share everything or is it not? And like, what if no one wants to work with me because I've just given all this information away for free? What is your view on that? And how do you reckon like is free content a good strategy to use?
I love this. So yes, free content versus paid content. Obviously, everybody has different opinions on everything. There are some people that are like, oh, you can never give away too much. Like, give away your best stuff in the free content because then that's going to make people want to work with you even more. Right? So everything I'm about to share is just my personal viewpoint and what I have found to work the best in my personal experience through my business and also working with all of my clients. But what I personally do and recommend is when you are creating your free content, obviously we want to think of it as like, okay, cool. This ideally should be a lead in to our paid offer, right? We want somebody to do our free thing, whether it's reading the free Instagram post or downloading this free PDF or enrolling in this free training class you're doing, whatever free content it is, right? Listening to a podcast episode. And then we want them to ideally then be like, oh my God, that was amazing. That was so helpful. And I really vibed with your style. Cool. Like, let's work together in a higher capacity. And then they, ultimately convert into a client for you, right? That's ideally what we are wanting to happen. So the way that I personally utilize my free content, if I am doing something that is educational, first of all, I think about what is kind of the prerequisite for whatever it is that I'm about to try to sell, right? So let's say if I'm doing a program, I'll use one of my programs as an example. I have a program called Digital Course Partnership, right? All about building out a digital course, using that to scale your business, kind of structuring your business around digital courses so you can generate more, predominantly passive income. Okay, cool. Well, in order for somebody to enroll in that program, they need to have their course idea. They need to be pretty committed to it, right? Know that they want to do this, see the possibilities of how that can impact their business, how it can impact their life. They have to have a level of investment in that, right? So the way that I would be thinking about my free content, whatever that might be, a download, workshop, whatever, is I need people to get to that place through that piece of free content, right? By the end of that free content, I really want them to have figured out what their digital course idea is. Maybe we did some market research and some validation. So that way they can literally see, oh, cool, here's the actual data and this actually will be profitable for me. And then maybe doing some math, running some numbers, seeing, oh, cool. And I only need this many people in to result in, let's say, $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month, whatever your income goals are, right? Then at that point, they have their idea. They've seen the impact that it can make. They have a level of investment, right? So they're going to be much better qualified and a lot more motivated inside of that paid offer. So the key, once you figured that out with, okay, cool. Well, now how much do I give away in that class though, right? How do I figure that out? How do I know if that, what is too much, whatever? My personal rule of thumb that I have found works really, really well is I like to challenge myself to give them for whatever, however many points I have in the class. Let's say I'm covering 3 main points, right? For each of those main points, I want to make sure I give some sort of tangible strategy for each one. I'm going to challenge myself. What is something that I can give them that they can go implement this week and see a result from it? Because by doing that, it's going to force me to not go too far down the rabbit hole, because we all know with our, different levels of expertise, there's so much that goes into one topic, right? And so then we could talk about this thing, but then, oh yeah, don't think about that, or don't forget about this other thing. But then when you're talking about that, and then there's this other thing, and oh, also asterisk here, da, da, da. And then, you've talked for like 3 hours and you're like, what just happened? Right. So we want to not do that. Like that should be reserved for your paid content. But if you challenge yourself to, what is something I can give them that they can do and they can implement and see a result from this week, that is going to, again, kind of help them get into another kind of like layer 2 of being invested in this, right? They've taken an action step. They were able to get it done quickly. It's going to show them, cool, I like have built this momentum now. I want to keep this going. They've seen a result. They're like, oh, cool. So she was able to give me this. I did it. I'm able now to see a tangible result. Cool. So of course they're going to want to keep working with you, So that is personally the strategy that I use for free content.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that. Like, I think there's that you're right. There's so many schools of thought around this. And some is like, don't give away anything and just kind of build need for your product and like show people why they need you. But I think where you're kind of talking of this middle ground of let's give them the results. Let's give them you're never going to be able to share all of your paid content. It's almost impossible because like like when you go into a course, it's stepped out for you perfectly. Like it's a whole journey. And yes, you can pull out parts of that journey and share that, but it's not the same as being in that full container in that process. And so I love that. Yeah, we can share something. We can give people some real results that they can see that one, they can actually achieve results for themselves, and that gives them hope. And then that other side of, yeah, actually this person knows their stuff and I want to, and I'm seeing that they can get me results and that they can help me. So why wouldn't I work with them more? And like, there's some people that give free content and they give quite a lot, but even still, my brain is like, that makes me want to work with you more because it means that I'm trusting you so much. And it's really that whole process that I know they've thought through, like, how people have like a key methodology that they teach. And like, there's no way you can teach me that whole methodology on an Instagram post or in a few different YouTube videos. Yeah. So working with them in that full capacity is just, there's so much beauty to that. And that can never be taken away with free content. So yeah, I love that, especially that tip around giving people something actionable that they can implement and get results from. I think that's a really great key. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, thank you. And I totally agree with all of that. Yes.
Yes. Yes to the yes. All right, let's get up our next question. Okay, so what are some of the best ways you've actually seen people use free offers? Like, is there something you're like, oh, I love how that person did this podcast, or I love how I've launched this freebie before and that just worked so well. Is there any examples that you can give us of some really great ways to share free content that you've seen work really well?
Ooh, okay, so I will give you 2 things. One will be very tangible, one will not be. The first one is very tangible. So free content, this is going to get into kind of an annoyance of mine. One of the things that I freaking hate is there are so many people online, especially like big names, whatever, that, they teach about email marketing and the importance of, having freebies and make sure you're getting people on your email list and right? Like social media, you don't own it. It can shut down at any time, which, yeah, that's all true. However, if you are like creating a new freebie for, every podcast that you're releasing and every blog post that you're doing and or maybe not even every one, but even if you're just doing it once a month, that is so much time and energy and effort that you are spending into that. So my question is, what are you doing after that freebie, right? Somebody signs up for that and then what happens? Are they just going on your email list? Like, no, I'm sorry. That's a big freaking waste of time. Like, I'm clearly very like straight to the punch, but like it is what it is. So the first tip is, if you are going to create some sort of free resource that somebody's, giving you their email in exchange for whatever, do not just put them in your email list. They need to go into an email funnel that is selling them your offer, because exactly what you were just saying, it doesn't matter how many Instagram lives I do, or how many free podcast interviews I do, or how many YouTube videos I post. I'm never going to be able to give you everything that you need to know to achieve that result that you're looking for, right? The best way that I can help somebody is by you enrolling in my program and going through all of that step by step, and, getting the education, getting the templates, getting the resources, seeing getting the full picture. That's how you actually get the result, right? Novel idea, I know. So anyway, all of that to just say is, do not be afraid of giving people the opportunity to work with you in that capacity. I don't want you to look at it as like, oh, well, they just signed up, I don't want to try and sell them something right away, I don't want to be salesy, blah, blah, blah. Let's shift our mindset from that and instead look at it as a service. They opted in because they're having an issue with that. And the best way that you're ever going to be able to help them solve that issue is through that program that you have, that you created specifically to help them solve it. Right. So that's number one. Number two,
I could be like I could just like grab that out and people just play that, like that little pep talk, like every time they're like, I don't want to sell my offer. It's like, no, you need to sell your offer. People need what you have to offer. I love that. Because it's like, you're right. There's
please feel free.
And like, if we're not nurturing the people after they download our freebie, they're gonna, like, I've downloaded so many freebies and I don't know who they are anymore, and then like a month or two or three or a year later they pop into my inbox and I'm like, look, I don't know who you are, I'm sure you can help me, but I don't really care, so bye. And so we just need to, like, we need to have like this really strong purpose around, if we're doing this, what's it then leading to, and then looking back, and can you see the results from that freebie? Because if not, if you can't see people actually purchasing your product, not just jumping on your email list, there's something wrong. And so fixing up that in between funnel bit.
Oh, yes. And I could do a whole episode, because I'm very like data numbers, like making business decisions should not be like feelings related at all. It is literally look at your numbers and that tells you what's wrong. That tells you what you need to fix. But that's a whole other topic. But
I'm so bad at, but I love people because you can help me with it more. All right. Yes. What's that second idea for us?
Okay, yeah. So number two, the second idea. So I am always very hesitant to say, like, oh, well, create a digital download, a PDF, or create your webinar or whatever. The best freebies that I've seen, and even like paid offers, honestly, is like, what is everybody else in your industry doing right now? And what can you do that is completely different from that? That's how you're going to get people to pay attention, right? If everybody else in your industry is doing, oh, free webinar and blah, 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 free webinar and blah, 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 free webinar and blah, 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 then it becomes exactly like TV commercials, right? We know that there's commercials on TV. And what do you do when the commercial comes on TV? You grab your phone and you're scrolling because you tune it out. You don't care anymore. It's not like everybody's doing it. Why should I pay attention, right? You're just like going to get drowned out in the noise. So my challenge is always thinking about, what are the formats that you enjoy doing, right? What are the things that you don't enjoy doing? Like, obviously I'm literally sitting here in like this like fuzzy hoodie and, my hair's in a bun on top of my head. Like, I don't have makeup on, I don't really want to like go get done up and get ready and do a whole like webinar and be fancy. Like sometimes I'm feeling that way, but like most of the time I just like do not have the energy. It's a lot easier for me to just like press a button on my phone and talk and brain dump something, right? So something that I actually like literally just announced today is I'm doing an offer that's Voxer only. It's a broadcast only Voxer group. I don't have to get ready. I don't have to put makeup on. I press a button, I hold it, and I talk, and I just like brain dump to you, like that is really easy for me. I haven't seen really anybody else in my industry do that before. I don't know. It just was like, cool. Well, that's easy for me. So let's try it, and like, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but that's like, it's part of the game. Like you have to try new things, if you're only ever trying to just do what everybody else is doing, and everybody has their photos at they're sitting at their desk holding their coffee cup wearing a blazer, so I guess I should get photos like that too. Or everybody's releasing this free download on the top marketing strategies for 2023, so I guess I should too, right? Anytime that should comes in there, no, that should be like a red flag for you. If you are thinking, oh, I should blah 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 because everybody else is, no, like literally, like look at what everybody else is doing and be like, how can I do not that?
Yeah, that's so interesting. And like it involves a lot of like thinking differently. Like it's so easy just to see that someone else is doing that and do that. And like those things may work, and there's definitely merit in things that people have always been doing because they probably work a little bit. But there's so much fun, and there's so much, just a disruption, I guess, when we do something that's a bit different. It's like, actually, I'd really like to do that. I don't see anyone doing that, but that doesn't mean it's the wrong thing to do. It just means that I get to play around with this, and I get to have fun with this and experiment with it. And that can bring so much fun into business as well, not only for your audience, but for yourself. And I think if we're having fun in business, it's going to be a lot more sustainable and a lot more enjoyable as well.
Yes, exactly. Novel idea. Do things that you like more. Have fun. Like big permission slip for everybody. Like you're allowed to do things that you haven't seen other people do before. You're allowed, like literally, like I always tell my clients, the best marketing strategy that I could ever give you is doing whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just, and I think we get caught up so much in the shoulds, and especially when we're new in business, we have no idea. I guess probably when we're new in business, we have no idea what the rules are and what rules to then break. And so like at the start, if you're not feeling like you know how to break the rules, that's okay. Like just follow the trends for a little while until you're like, actually, I'm getting the hang of this, and this isn't what I want. I want to like one of my friends, like I try not to have my toddler on calls with me because she's really distracting and takes me away from things. One of my friends is like bringing her baby on calls because she loves it, her clients love it, and it's like, I would never have thought to do that because I would have thought it's unprofessional. But make it what you want. And like if your clients are okay with it, then do it. And if your clients aren't okay with it, find new clients. And so this idea that we get to build a business that supports us, can be really, really fun.
Yes, I love it. And I also honestly, like exactly what you were just saying, I also think about that as a marketing strategy, right? It's attract and repel marketing.
Yeah.
Like I have my dogs on calls with me a lot. So like there are pictures that I post, or like in my story, like I literally just posted a story now of like my dogs, so I'm always posting about them.
Yeah. And they're like, and even in my business, I feel like sometimes like, oh, should I be more professional? Should I not wear these fun, bright colors? Should I not have photo shoots in ball pits? But it's like, no, because I want to work with, I was on a call last night with some students, and I was using words like thingy and the thingamabob, and I don't know what, like I was like, look, if you want to work with Jackie, don't expect professional words, because my brain doesn't always find professional words, and I want to get the words out there, and sometimes thingy is explainable enough. So it's like, like if you want someone really corporate and really straight down the line, don't work with me. But if you want someone that's going to have a bit of fun in business, then yes, work with me. And so not hiding away from that side of myself in my external presentations of myself in my marketing, because otherwise I'll be attracting the wrong people in.
Yes. Novel idea. We are allowed to be humans.
Yeah, I know. It's wild. It's wild. Okay. Another way that I love to promote, and I know that I think you love to promote, is on Instagram. And sometimes I think when people have a small following, they get really freaked out. They're like, oh, I can't use Instagram. No one's caring about me. No one's going to work for me from there. What can you say around encouraging people that maybe a small following is the worst thing, and maybe creating community could be a key, or doing something totally different? What would you say is a great way to use Instagram?
I mean, okay, here we go. Pep talk for the people with small followings on Instagram. Honestly, and this is like, I have an agency as well, a marketing agency, and I've worked with a lot of brands who have worked with influencers, blah, 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 right? And honestly, people with smaller audiences have way better conversions than people with bigger audiences, because it is such a huge benefit to have a smaller audience, because the way that you get to interact with them is going to be way different than somebody who has thousands, tens of thousands of people. I can't go on and send a freaking DM to every single person. Like, I've gotten to the point now where I can't even get through all of my DMs. Whereas like previously I would always try to, every single DM I want to try to reply to, blah, blah, blah. Eventually you're going to reach a point where like you just can't, like, unless you're going to be, freaking on your phone all day. But that isn't really an issue when you have a smaller audience, right? You can develop those more personal relationships. You can reach out to people and show them, hey, I'm a real human and I actually do care about you also as a human, right? Like, I'm not literally just looking at you as a dollar sign. Like, I care what you think. I care what you're dealing with in your business right now. I really want to know more about your thoughts on XYZ, right? Like, first of all, that is all invaluable market research. But second of all, like, that, having those people that you have an actual connection with, the conversion rate for something like that is so much higher versus having an audience of, 10,000 people, but you like don't talk to any of them. You don't know any of them, and that's like just to give you further proof. Like, I literally had a client once who had 500,000 followers on Instagram. And she came to me because nothing she posted was converting. She really wasn't making a lot of money. And it's because everything, it was basically forced to be kept like very super like surface level, and she couldn't develop those relationships and talk with people on a more individual basis and and like the conversion rate showed it. So honestly, like, having a smaller audience on Instagram, that is such a huge benefit. And so even if let's say you're not getting a bunch of like DMs, or, you're not getting as many likes, whatever, cool. Like, first of all, everybody on Instagram, their likes are going down. Like, again, I run a marketing agency. It's across the board. I promise you, like, I don't even look at my likes anymore. That's normal. Like, even if you are not getting those results, like, it is so important to just know there are people who are watching you. They are watching what you're doing. They're watching that you're showing up. They're watching what you're posting. I can't even tell you how many times I book clients, one-on-one clients who are paying like $10,000 plus to work with me. And they've sent an email, oh, I've been watching your Instagram for, the past 6 months or for the past year or whatever. Like, and then they're just like, cool. Like, yeah, I already know I want to work with you. Like, sign me up. Right? Like, that happens so frequently. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Even if you're not seeing those results, that's okay, because I promise you, there are people watching what you're doing. They're watching how you're showing up, and they're feeling so inspired by that. And they are thinking about working with you. They're just waiting on you to go in launch mode and push them over the edge, Yeah.
Do you have some really cool tips for us around ways to build community? So ways to get people in DMs, ways to like what is building community on Instagram? Like, because obviously, as you say, exactly that, like, having that small following means that we have that flexibility to be able to actually do that way that we can actually message. Like, I've got a strategy at the moment. I just say hi to all my new followers personally, because I don't have thousands of new followers every day. I can do that. And so using that to my advantage, rather than just being like, oh, I've only got one new follower this week, and leaving it, like, get to know that new follower. Amazing. You've got one new follower this week. Like, use that. And so, like, what are some ways that you've seen or that you know of that we can build community on Instagram?
Yeah. So I totally agree with what you just said with, every time you do get a new follower in your audience, just reach out and say hi to them, right? Like, go actually look at their profile, like some of their photos, find one that resonates with you, and leave an actual thoughtful comment, right? Not just like, oh, 3 heart emojis, right? Like, look at the picture and leave an actual thoughtful comment. Maybe ask a question, right? Watch their stories and then send them a DM and just say hi, right? But here's the key. The thing that I recommend when you're doing this is I never say anything business related, because God, we all know on Instagram for so long, people, would slide in with the, hey girl, like, tell me more about your business, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually they try to like pitch you on something, and it's just so like impersonal. So I will find something that I really liked about about their profile or that they had in their bio, whatever. And literally like give them a compliment about that, like something that you genuinely like resonated with or really liked, right? Like how we hopped on the call and like, oh my God, like I love how your bio says cheesecake lover. It's like, it's not business related at all, but it gives you that personal connection. And it's exactly what we would do like in real life too, right? Like if you're out, you're like sitting at the bar and somebody sits next to you and you're like, oh my God, that dress is so cute. Where'd you get it? Like that's generally, yeah, like that's generally how you're going to like start that relationship in person too. So just translate that to Instagram. But other things that you can do, I think a lot of people, especially when they're first starting out, can shy away from sharing more personal things on Instagram. But honestly, like that is your superpower. Like all of the things that we were just talking about, how you were saying, like, wearing the more brightly colored things and saying like thingy, whatever, it's like, that's you. That's who you are as a person. So like share that in your Instagram stories. You could be doing like an outfit of the day. Like today, on Wednesdays, we wear pink, or, like you can do whatever you want. Or like I show my dogs in my Instagram stories when I'm traveling, I show that, whatever, because that's going to give people a way to connect with you on an actual personal level. That is why people are going to choose to work with you, right? Like, okay, there's a million freaking people online who teach about Instagram and do social media marketing and blah, blah, blah. Right. But like somebody might come work with me because, okay, cool. Like I'm kind of sassy and just directly say what I think. And I also really love like spooky paranormal things. And so that might really vibe with somebody and they're like, oh, hell yeah. Like I just want to be friends with her. Like literally all of my clients, I'm like, yeah, I just want to go like hang out with you and like have a drink, like that's where you want to get to. And by showing up as yourself, that's going to help attract them as well and really involving them in your life too. And then the final way that I would say is finding something that you can post about consistently to also help involve your audience, right? Almost like an inside joke, like how you would have an inside joke with friends, right? So maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe you just love Kraft mac and cheese. And so you like take a picture of your lunch and it's like a picture of your, Kraft mac and cheese. And you're like, if you know, or like you go to the grocery store and you take a picture of the Kraft mac and cheese out. If just like having those little things. And you can even make references to it in your posts, stuff like that, but it's kind of having that little like inside joke that's also going to be relatable to you, but it's going to help your people feel, first of all, more connected, but it's going to develop that sense of community too. People will start like, maybe they're going grocery shopping and they take a picture of the mac and cheese and they post it in their stories and tag you in it. Like people send me haunted things all the time. Like they'll be like, oh my God, I just went on this ghost tour and thought about you, blah, 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 so that's another way that's going to help involve them and make them feel, like it's like, oh, like, yeah, I'm on the inside, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I love that. And I think some of those things are sometimes hard to think of, but sometimes it'll just pop into your mind. You're like, oh, lean into that. Lean into those, that weird idea that you had. And you're like, people are going to think I'm weird or not. Probably, but maybe it's going to really call to these people that I really will work well with. And like, yeah, I just went on a holiday to a different state in Australia and I caught up with two of my clients that I've worked with before that I was like, I really want to see you in person. Let's actually catch up. And it was just so much fun. And we got along so well because like I draw in people that I get along with because I'm not hiding who I am on my Instagram. And so I love those thoughts. Thank you for sharing that. I'd love to know as we finish off, like, how can we get in touch with your world? How can we work with you? How can we see more of what Nicole has to offer?
Yes. Well, if you would like to come hang out, I spend most of my virtual time on Instagram and it's just my name at Nicole Riccardo, Riccardo. I am going to be starting to post some YouTube videos soon. So you'll be able to find me on there. And then, for anybody who is interested in spooky things, I also have a paranormal podcast. It's called The Real Ghosts of, kind of like The Real Housewives of, because we're an all lady team and we're sassy. So, there you go. That's where you can come hang out with me.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So jump over and give Nicole a follow if you have enjoyed her and you feel like you are someone who you can get along well with and love being in Nicole's world. I'm not sure if she really does share about mac and cheese stuff, but probably something else. It's going to be an in joke you can learn about. Like dogs. So no, thank you so much for joining me today. I've loved our chat. I hope that you get to have your ultimate day in business very, very soon, capping everything off with that spa day.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me.